Hello, 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 my people. Human Handbook community, Dr. Adam Tice here, checking in, establishing contact for today's transmission. How you guys doing? So, I wanted to talk today a little bit about something different, and that's partly what this Human Handbook community is designed and is going to evolve into, is a space where is a solution-oriented space where we talk about everything you need to know but nobody's telling you. And what I'd like to talk about today is related to a post I made the other day in relation to blockchain technology and cryptocurrency. And what I want to talk about today is blockchain technology as it relates to health freedom and the future of the internet and freedom in general. And this is a big part of how and why we're even in a network, or otherwise we would have remained on on the legacy social platforms, which of course we've talked about that before. And we're kind of in that in between transition zone where the technology is progressing and evolving and presenting at an unprecedented pace that has never, ever, ever been seen before, and humanity has never, ever, ever seen anything like this. And there's a little bit of a learning curve with this thing. And so this, again, is something that you need to know about if you have not heard about this. So, those of you guys that are, at the tip of the spear and you're on board, or a little bit at least heard about blockchain technology and decentralization, spectacular, you're at the tip of the spear. But you're kind of a 1%er, and I think if you're into this kind of health freedom stuff, we're a little bit of a special category anyway. So, welcome, congratulations. You're definitely unique and ahead of the curve of humanity, because what we're doing and the things we're talking about, just in the things that we talk about in the clinic, the stuff that we do, medicine-wise, this is tip of the spear stuff. This is not mainstream stuff yet. People are looking for it, but they don't know it exists. And the internet as it exists now is broken. Google is broken. They broke the internet. And let me explain what I mean by that. If you're looking for, and I saw another headline today that that YouTube is censoring they're censoring more videos as it relates to the special medicine and Rover 19 and the special medicine boosters, et cetera, et cetera. So let's keep it clean. About that, we don't need to get into that rabbit hole right now, because what I want to really talk about is more solution oriented. But the point is, the internet's broken, and if you're looking for information about this kind of a stuff, you cannot find it on YouTube. You cannot find it on Google. The algorithm is busted. They've designed it where it's on there somewhere, but it's buried about 100 pages deep, and nobody goes that deep looking. So you got to go off Google into DuckDuckGo or other engines to even find information related to this stuff we're talking about. And partly, again, that's why we're, in sort of this break-off network. And this is the future. Is these social networks that are really organic and grassroots. And again, I'm playing the long game here. And there's no such thing as a miracle rapid growth kind of a thing. I think that we gotta keep it organic and really spread this with your friends, your family, people that you know that are into this kind of stuff or interested in this kind of stuff. And this stuff, I mean freedom, health freedom, decentralization, means doing away. What's an example of centralization? Centralized banks, where centralized medicine, centralized social media, centralized authoritarian regimes, and people with sort of globalist type agendas that don't necessarily have us in mind, to let the common man, the natural man, live in a natural manner with the God-given freedoms that are inherent, that we're born with. That's what I'm talking about, and that's what I'd like to preserve. And so this type of a natural environment, freedom environment, and that's almost become a little bit of a loaded term, a little bit kind of, I think actually a weaponized term is a lot of these terms. Again, these terms have actually been kind of weaponized, and they're part of the psychological operation. And so we have to just have the proper understanding what we mean by that. But the blockchain technology and the decentralization is the future of what we're talking about. And I got into this rabbit hole, again, this whole thing, through the lens of health freedom, through wanting to practice naturopathic medicine and share naturopathic medicine, and not have some central medical authority bind me to a standard of care that's not my standard of care, that's not a naturopathic, a nature cure standard of care. And so that's partly why we're in Florida. It's a little bit of the Wild West in a lot of ways, and that goes for naturopathic medicine, that goes for those of you guys that are in Florida now, and I think this is probably one of the best places to be in the world as far as having our freedom, in the sense of able to have some medical freedom, have some religious freedom, have some freedom to come and go as we choose, as we please. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, just look into things that are happening in like Australia or in different parts of Europe, or even in Canada. A lot of the freedoms that we're used to, people in the world, they don't have. So, freedom ain't free. And we need to remember that, and we need to keep that in mind. And that's what this blockchain thing is all about. A decentralization is all about. I think that's the future of the internet. It's the future of the economics. And again, we've had experience with kind of authoritarian economics, in the sense that, well, I guess I'll share this. Because it's relevant, and maybe it'd be helpful to know. We've actually had our payment processors shut down. Twice, I think that's happened. And again, you get used to this kind of stuff. You get used to the suppression. And my brother said to me the other day, he's like, man, you always think somebody's coming to get you. You think that somebody's coming to get you and shut you down. And I just kind of let it go. But truth is, I haven't shared some of this stuff with him. I don't usually talk about this kind of stuff. I just kind of keep going. I try not to, complain or get into, that kind of stuff too much. But I'm like, yeah, man, we have. I've had my payment processor shut down. They do want to shut me down. I've had my domain censored. I've had my YouTube censored. We've had our Facebook censored. We've had our payment processors pulled, and that's exactly what happens is in this kind of thing. And again, we don't have ginormous followings. We are small, organic, grassroots kind of followings, really, not giant, big, make the big news and make a scene and get your payment processors pulled, your merchant processors pulled, because you're doing, pseudo pharmaceuticals and it goes against their terms of service. Well, their pseudopharmaceuticals are my medicines. Those are my remedies. Those are the things that those are my tools that I use to get people better. And in real life, those things work. There's nothing pseudo about them. Look at the clinical outcomes. And again, that's a separate story. But again, there is a need and a call and a relevancy for this kind of a blockchain technology where there's not somebody in this case, a payment processor like Stripe, that's going to say you can't do that because we don't like that. And again, who's telling them what to do? There's powerful pharma lobbies that tell them what to do, and then they in turn, they're just following the marching orders and shutting people down like that. So there's a need to go outside of the centralized networks and go in. There's a need for something else, and that's what at least the potential is there for things like Bitcoin. And I don't think Bitcoin is going to be, well, I don't know what it's going to be. If that's going to be, if there's some kind of a lightning network on, a second layer Bitcoin technology that's going to allow for the rapid transactions. There's other blockchain and other cryptos that I think might be players in as far as what are we going to use in the coming years for day-to-day transactions between you and me, where there's no middleman, there's no bank, there's no merchant processor that says, hey, you can or cannot do that. Or in order for you to do that, you got to pay this fee to go through here. And then they're saying some transaction between you and I is okay or is not okay. These kinds of things, we need solutions for these. Now, this stuff is tip of the spear, guys. The technology is evolving and developing so fast. And I think we're still at kind of, it's the tip of the spear where we don't have, and the platforms, in this case, the cryptocurrency platforms, we don't have all of the kinks worked out, and we don't have the adoption, the public adoption yet, where everybody knows, and we all have applications on our phone to use certain cryptocurrencies, but guaranteed it's coming. It's happening now. And that's partly what that screenshot I shared the other day, because we have people, clients, friends, patients, in different parts of the world. And that particular example that I presented the other day was, an individual in Australia that was attempting to secure some of our remedies. And they had some concerns about tracking and privacy and things like this. And so we decided to, we have the option to use, a more private means of transaction to, to enable really health freedom there. So that was a tool of health freedom, and I wanted to share that with you guys to let you know that this is not something that's way, way, way off, far, far away. One day that might happen. This is here, it's real, it's actually happening, and I think we all need to get up to speed with it and figure out how we're going to use this in our day-to-day lives. So again, just wanted to bring this out into the open. And again, the currency part of it, the money part of it, the currency, and there's many different variations of this. So and there's a learning curve, a pretty big learning curve to start to wrap your brain and get a working knowledge and a working understanding about cryptocurrencies, about blockchain technology. What's the difference between those things? What the heck does that even mean? So if you've heard of this, good. Get on YouTube, get on some of the other places. There's a lot of really good info out there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I think you should start to learn about it and get yourself into the rabbit hole. And it's going to take you a couple hundred hours to get up to speed on what's going on, and that's okay. That's just how it goes. But we need to do it because the rate of adoption we have never seen. We as a global human network, we've never seen anything quite like this since the internet itself. And the rate of adoption that blockchain and crypto is going through is at a rate faster than internet adoption was. So think back, back into the late 90s, 97, 95, 96, 97, when, the internet and email and all that was just kind of, new. And then look now, 20 years later, what happened there, and look at the social media and the internet itself and how that evolved in 10 years and 20 years. And that's what we're going to see happen probably in the next 3 to 5 years, and definitely 5 to 10 years. Okay, so, and this is, again, there are many use cases for blockchain technology as a means for decentralization and creating transparency. And I think that's what we're going to see, and this is really partly what the future of the internet is going to be, is Internet 3.0, in a way that is not able to be censored, because the information is maintained on many nodes, many different spots across the world, and they're not able to censor that, as it is, for example, with a centralized like Google or Facebook or Twitter. That's a top-down thing. Where they don't like something, there's like 1 or 2 people that can just shut that down totally, disappear it, like in a matter, that means one corporation or one, somebody connected makes a call, puts a message in, to a higher up in, at Twitter, at Facebook, at Google, at YouTube, and then boom, it's shut down instantly. So I don't really know the whole direction this is going to unfold. There's a lot of, and just like any technology, there's going to be, there's going to be bad actors in the pool, and there's going to be bad actors. There's going to be some bad apples in the bunch. Welcome to Earth. There's nothing new there, okay? But again, I think that's partly what we're going to see that unfold, and how we're going to manage that. And I don't think, we'll see how we're going to manage that and kind of curate that content in a decentralized way. I don't know exactly what that looks like. We all are gonna wait and kind of experience that, how that happens. So anyway, this is something that is part of, it's in that conversation of something that you need to know about that nobody's telling you. And a lot of people are talking about this behind the scenes, and I think especially over the last 6 to 12 months, with the things that are going on in the economy, with the relief and the stimulus plans, and the fact that, the fiat currency, and the fact that, 40% of all the currency in circulation was just generated out of thin air in the last 12 months. And how's that going to affect us in the coming years? I think this is something that we need to at least be aware of and cognizant of, and start thinking and planning and strategizing, in a way to basically exit out of the centralized matrix. And again, this is the solution, and that's partly why I went really deep into this rabbit hole, probably, really this last year, big time, because the censorship really cracked down super heavy. The economic situation was unprecedented. We'd never seen anything like that, with the lockdowns and the shutdowns and the quarantines, and businesses shut down, and many small businesses, they're not going to make it back. They didn't make it out of there, and they're not coming back. And a lot of us have, we had models and systems in place that were able to kind of navigate a transition like that, and I feel really, really, really fortunate, even to know about this stuff, and this is something that, we've kind of known about for, I don't know, since like, 2015, 16, we kind of knew about this, but it didn't really click in my brain until the last year. And I realized this decentralized blockchain thing is a solution and a way out of the centralization. And it's going to be a solution, and we need to really pay attention to it. And I need to pay attention to this for, how can I use this for our clinic, for our patients, for our friends, for my family, as a means, to maintain our freedom. And, and there are a lot of different use cases. And one example of that is different social medias and different social networks that are evolving on this blockchain. And a lot of these are really, really brand new, and they're a little rough around the edges. And they're not as pretty and as user-friendly as Facebook and YouTube is yet. But all that's coming, and I think a lot of it's going to be like open source, which means that, it will be, we'll be able to build on that, and everybody will be able to kind of contribute to that and make those systems better. And then again, with the decentralized thing, there's not a centralized authority able to just shut things down immediately. How do we deal with like an internet kill switch and stuff like that, because blockchain is still on the internet? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I can't answer those like highly technical questions. I don't know that kind of stuff. If you're an engineer and you're in this group, maybe somebody can chime in. And again, I'm an expert in some areas, but I'm not an expert in all things. And so again, that's partly what I want to put this out, and this is a call, to create a community and to bring people that have different expertise. And I know my patients, our clinic population, you guys are some of the smartest people, probably top 1% people that there is. The people that are in this group, and you guys are creme de la creme, 1% kind of people. You guys are tip of the spear, super smart people. And so that's what we're talking about doing, is putting all these people together and creating this kind of a collective environment, this kind of a community where we can, use this, kind of leverage off, kind of bounce ideas off each other, and find other people. If we get into these conversations like this where I'm not an expert in, I might know, be familiar with it. I want to call forth those people that know that know the technical details of this stuff, because I got a lot to learn. So I want to learn too. And that's partly, again, what we're all doing here, is all learning from each other and kind of feeding each other's curiosity and interests, so that we can be better people, so that we can create better communities, so that we can create a better world. And really, that's the name of the game. We're playing the long game here. That's what this Human Handbook community is all about. So a little something different today, guys. That's really what it's all about. And so I think that's a good transmission for today. A little bit of food for thought. So I'm interested who is into this kind of stuff, who has some input here, thoughts, ideas. Please leave your comments below. This is the Human Handbook community, where we're talking about everything you need to know but nobody's telling you. This is Dr. Adam Tice here. That's today's transmission. Our private community is something that I take seriously, and I value you guys. So if you're in the community, awesome. If you're curious about the community, I'll leave a link there in a comment or the description there below, wherever we post this video, and you guys can check us out. And I'm happy to have the tip of the spear, kind of 1% people in our world, as far as medicine, technology, all this stuff. I want this really to be a well-rounded community, and that's what we're talking about, guys. That's today's transmission. Dr. Adam Tice here. Leave your comments below. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Adios for now.